What's going on, people? I hope you're all having a fantastic Friday. Today, we have got ourselves the 39th episode of Career Mode, and quite possibly one of the more tougher ones we're going to have. As you guys know, we're into the quarterfinals of the Champions League. This is the only trophy that we've really tried to win here at Brighton, and it's eluded us thus far. Last season, we went all the way to the semi-finals in the Champions League, facing off against today's opponents, Manchester United. We lost. We were kicked out of the Champions League at the semi-finals stage. Since then, we've gone on to spend upwards of £200 million improving this squad so that it can be the best that we have in order to try and win this competition. Today's opponents, Manchester United, obviously, they did knock us out last season. We faced them at an earlier stage, though, today in the quarterfinals. A place awaits in the semis, provided we can beat them over the two legs. You will see both of the legs in today's episode, so make sure you stay tuned to find out what happens as we are ready to go into game number one, showing you, obviously, the two sides coming out. We're playing away at Old Trafford first, so it's a bit of a tough one, this one. I like having the away game second, so I know how many away goals I need, but, you know, we will go on and on and see if we can get ourselves through to this semi-finals stage. So, as we got the game underway at Old Trafford, all I knew is that we needed to score. That was all we had to try and do. And early on, our intent was shown as Anthony Martial, on his return to Old Trafford, scored the opening goal of the game after 17 minutes. This guy, they were fools to let him go. As you guys know, we picked him up on a pre-contract. In the end, Manchester United brought in Stefan El Shaarawy as his replacement. After they let him go, no idea why on earth they let his contract run down the way they did. But they were forced to let him go because he came to us for free. And, you know, after we won the Premier League last season, it was all about improving this team, trying to get it that one step closer to the Champions League final. And ladies and gentlemen, I said to you guys at the beginning of this season, if we don't make it there, I feel that I will have not achieved enough with this side. I have let you all down if we don't make it to the Champions League final, because this team is undoubtedly better than it was last season. And we got very near the Champions League final. Like I said, only been losing out in that semi-final stage to Manchester United last season. So, as we went 2-0 up, through Martial again, genuinely, I was feeling good. I thought this is going to be a walk in the park. We are smashing them at Old Trafford. 2-0 up before even half-time has approached us. David De Gea can't seem to find an answer for Martial. You can see he gets fingertips to that, but not enough to push it out. And I thought to myself, this is going to be us going through to a semis. And whoever faces in that semis, we've taken down my bogey team, if you will, in Man United. So I feel confident. But with all that confidence easing through our veins, we were sent back down to planet Earth for a little bit. You can see right here, Rashford corner, whipped into the middle. Milinkovic-Savic and Rodri go both for it. And it is actually, I think, Rodri who gets on the end of it to put it Manchester United 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 2. So although we were 2-0 up in the game, having scored 2 away goals, within a matter of minutes, United pulled themselves back into the game straight after the second half had begun. So I was feeling very, let's say my confidence from what it was previously at this all-time high had been somewhat brought back down a little bit. Although, 2 away goals are still very good. You know, that's still enough for us to be able to go through to the final. So I was still feeling like if we could just potentially get one more, we will book our place in the semi-finals. And then Ndombele went closest with 6 minutes to go in our second half performance. This time, David Gea's fingertips enough to touch it past the post, but I'm not sure what on earth, I think it's Sergio Roberto's doing as he jumps out the way of the shot. He should have blocked it, in my opinion. But that was how the game at Old Trafford would end. A 2-1 win for this Brighton side. Both goals coming courtesy of Anthony Martial. And I looked at that game and thought, is that enough? Is that going to be enough to send us through to the Champions League semi-finals? You know, last season, I think we were in a similar situation where we had a 1-goal advantage, but I believe it was the other way around. We won 2-1 at our ground, and obviously they then won, I think, in their ground. So, yeah, I was looking at this thinking, is that 2-1 win going to be enough? Because if you think about it, we can concede once at the Amex and still go through on the away goal ruling. So it's one of them things where, although it's not the best case scenario, it's still an advantage I was decided upon. So the 2 goals enough to give us those sort of little bit that we needed, but I still wasn't entirely sure because Man United are one of these teams, right, in this game. They will either batter me, they will either get really lucky and score after I've battered them, or we will go on and absolutely smash them. There's never a game, I don't think, where it's like, you know, there's both of us in it and it's going to end goalless because I don't know what it is. There's just always goals whenever I play against them. Whether or not it's them, whether or not it's me, there's always seeming to be goals. There's never a dull moment when I play against Man United. So I'm expecting very much the same at the Amex. And we were ready to go into it. As I said, I played both the games today. You'll see the result of this one. And if we don't reach it, it's underwhelming. And obviously, like I said, we're going to another team come probably this weekend, guys. As you're seeing this, I'm hoping to have the next episode of this series out pretty soon. So then that way we can get through it a little bit quicker. And as you guys know, at the end of this season, we're moving on. We're going somewhere else in the world of football to try our managerial tactics elsewhere in the world. So regardless of whatever happens here, whether or not we make it to a Champions League final or don't, we will not be having another go with this Brighton team. We'll have to try and win it elsewhere if we don't reach it. But again, we're into the side. We had no KDB, unfortunately. He picked up another yellow card in the game against Man United, which meant he was suspended for this one, for picking up too many yellow cards on the run into that. So, a bit frustrating, but we made our intent, known early on, should we say, because we battered them again down this right-hand side. It was Vinicius Jr. getting the better of his man every time. You can see there's a little one for offside there. I don't know whether or not it was. We'll play on regardless. Vinicius Jr. back towards Phil Foden, our best chance of this first half, and he should have buried it. If that was KDB, that's going top bins. Brighton are 1-0 up. We're cruising to a semi-final. But I just felt like we might be able to rue these missed chances potentially. It actually came off the head of the Man United defender there. So I was looking at this game thinking, I hope we don't rue these missed chances. Kevin Volland for Man United goes inside the box. And Frank Brown is required on 50 minutes. He's enough to be able to pull off the save. And with that, that's shown that they could actually create chances. But Yassin Brahimi looking for one now as he started the game as well, I believe, on the left-hand side in place of Martial. Or maybe he came on. I can't quite remember. I just know that he hit the woodwork on the 57th minute. And at this point, I was thinking, is this going to be one of those moments where we're going to have a 0-0 draw? I was just saying before about the fact that we don't normally get them against Man United. Well, that continues. Sessegnon's delivery put into the middle of the box. And up rose Vinicius Jr., not really known for heading, but he scored one with his nugget to be able to put us 1-0 in front. Brighton 1, Manchester United 0, 3-1 on aggregate, and that meant that we all but secured our place in the semi-finals of the Champions League. I was so relieved to see this go in. Kind of just breathed a sigh of relief at that and thought, there we go, that's what we waited for. It was more just about trying to get that goal, man, because this game was a little bit tough, should I say. Man United didn't really throw the kitchen sink at us, though, to be fair. They needed a goal, and they knew they needed a goal. In fact, they needed more than that. One goal was not enough, remember, due to the away goal ruling. So I was a bit surprised to see Mourinho's men not really come here and, throw the kitchen sink, as we see a ball floating on the screen just there. Don't know if you noticed that one. Ghost on the middle of the pitch carrying the ball along. However, I shouldn't really be that surprised, because obviously we do see Mourinho sometimes set up his teams very bizarrely in terms of that one. So, yeah, like I said, good result. 3-1 aggregate lead, and it does mean we move through to the semi-finals. It is an all-English tie, though, for that semi-finals. Spurs are the team we have drawn in that one. Barcelona and Bayern will fight off in the other semi. So, honestly, I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea how this is going to go. I did talk about the fact that, Man United are our bogey team, if you will, in this one. But now I'm looking at it, I think Spurs have had some good games against us in the past as well. So that could be more tough than I maybe first expected. But we'll try our best in that game, which will be next episode, guys. I am going to do it live for you as well, just to give you that extra little bit of fun to see my live reactions, how much salt I spray around on the pitch after conceding an unfortunate goal against this ultimate difficulty. Because I know it's coming. I know I'm going to have a moment where I rage. So, if you're excited for that, next episode out. But then we played 2 more Premier League games. We tried to secure ourselves the Premier League title in this episode. I wanted it done and dusted by the time we were taking on Spurs. I wanted all my attention focused on that Champions League semi-final. So first up was Arsenal, taking them on at home at the Amex. And I've got to say right now, what you're about to see is some of the finest shooting on show I think we have shown all series long. KDB very nearly finding the opening goal after 18 minutes through the legs of the defender with that time finesse shot, which is oh but so broken in this one. And then we had another effort, which was 42 minutes gone. Ndombele finding Martial. Martial managing to get it back inside to Ronaldo. And a first-time shot from Ciron put us 1-0 in front. And that was a fantastic finish. Even at the age of 35, he's still banging them in. And I did actually see a comment, not last episode, but a few episodes ago, regarding Cristiano Ronaldo. And that was why we actually signed him. The reason for that, guys, is just because I felt like never had him before, and I thought at 35, he's still going strong. Why not try and bring him in? Especially considering we were English champions last season in the Premier League. We were champions. We reached the semi-finals, so although traditionally it would be unrealistic for Brighton to sign him, in terms of the way it is right now, we are technically speaking the best team in England. So I didn't feel that it was that unrealistic at the time. So yeah, it was just nice to have him. And then when he made it 2-0 in the second half, I mean, it just showing you, even with age, that he still has everything you need to play as a quality footballer. I saw a comment as well regarding, it wasn't on my video, it was on another one, regarding the, how the older players kind of go down in rating. I don't think it's as prominent this year. It was in the past, and it was really bad in the past, but I think this year, the better players, the likes of Ronaldo, the likes of Messi, don't seem to be decreasing as much as I first expected them to be. So that's what I'm saying. I was quite surprised when I saw him 88 rated at 35. So pretty good that they've managed to sort that one out. As Mario Lemina, first touch of the ball since he came on, by the way, struck one against the woodwork. And at this point, we'd hit the post or hit the woodwork 3 times in the game. So we could have been 5-0 up in this one, which would have been pretty sensational, if I do say so myself. We were 2-0 in front, though. We were cruising to 3 points. Things got even better when 2 became 3. Mario Lemina finding Rabiot. Rabiot to KDB. KDB may have missed one earlier on in the game, but he ain't going to miss that one. Brighton 3, Arsenal 0. And we were running away with the game. And this one right here, it didn't actually secure us the league title straight up because we still had to try and win or draw our next one, I believe. Anyways, that's what I was thinking. Because at this point, this was the 32nd, 33rd Premier League game. And mathematically, it was still possible for us to be caught up. So, although Martial had the 4th, this didn't actually secure us the title. Because I wanted it to, so we could actually lift the Premier League title right here, right now, in this game at the Amex. And we'd have to wait until the next one. Because I believe the team in second, I can't remember if it's Spurs or Manchester City, were actually still able to catch us. Because they won their game as well. So, 4-0 win. Even though it was a phenomenal performance, we were on fire in that one, shooting boots clearly on. We didn't actually secure the title, so you're going to have to wait until the next game, which comes right now, and it is a little bit of a preview for you. So it is Man City and Spurs in second and third. Chelsea in there on 4th as well. Look at that. 2 points between second and 4th, but then there's 15 between us and City. 5 games to go, by the way. So, yeah, draw here against Spurs, and the Premier League title is ours, no matter whatever happens elsewhere against Manchester City. So, well, with Manchester City, I should say. So, going to take them on. I was looking at this as a preview of the Champions League semi-final. The only thing was, I named a much weaker side for this. Because we did have that Champions League semi in 4 days' time from this game right here. So, I wasn't prepared to risk any of the players that will most likely be starting that game in the Champions League. So, going into it, I actually named 11 changes. 11 changes from the team that played against Arsenal. Which is pretty mad when you consider that Spurs are a top 4 side and we're playing against them in the Premier League, yet we've named 11 changes. Their side was all but pretty much the strongest possible. I was very surprised to see that. I know they're still fighting it out in the top 4. They're not mathematically secure of anything yet, but to see them kind of have a situation where they're starting with their best players, knowing that in 4 days' time they have to play against us again in that Champions League semi-final, I thought Pochettino might have made a slight mistake with his team choice. Having said that, they needed to start with their strongest because as 15 minutes came, Noah Gordson's crazy run found its way through to Andres Pereira and he scored to make it Brighton 1 at Tottenham 0. So even though it is a really strong side from Spurs, there's a clear reason why they've done it, and that is because they knew they needed to in order to try and get a result here. We made a mistake, gave the ball away sloppily. Harry Kane goes through, makes no mistake with his finish though, and he's just quality. Harry Kane is quality, and I think for the first time in FIFA, he's actually going to be really effective because this year, obviously, it's not as prominent pace. Last year, I didn't feel that he had that much of an impact. But, man, he's a really good finisher, Harry Kane. And that is shown by that goal right there. And I'm sure when we take him on next episode in that semi-final, he's going to be one to watch. But then in the second half with 83 minutes gone, I don't know what to say about this. Davy Proper gives us the lead, right? This is a red time finesse shot. It's a horrific effort that ends up going in the back of the net. I thought this whole, I know there's been talk about this before, but I thought this whole time finishing scenario was brought in so that if you got it right, it would go in. If you got it wrong, you would be punished, right? But this is completely in the red. I mishit it so badly, and it's ended up going in the back of the net. I was sat there going, I can't believe that that's gone in. I mean, I was glad because it made it 2-1. Like I said, though, we only needed a single point to get us a title, but I was still pleasantly surprised. And right here, a joke, absolute joke. And I'm going to show you this in the instant replay just to show you how this was actually supposed to go. But I'm just saying this right now. Bernardo is never playing for my team ever again. I know I haven't got that many games left as Brighton manager, but look at this. Look where I'm aiming the pass, guys. I'm aiming the pass to go back to the goalkeeper because I knew full well that if I went inside, Spurs were going to get it. So I thought, let me aim it back to the keeper. There you go. Look where that aimed and look where it goes. I was fuming with Bernardo. I really was. Found straight to Dele Alli. Takes a touch and finishes it off. Spurs 2, Brighton 2. Literally the last kick of the game. So, yeah. Let's hope we don't have to start Bernardo in the Champions League, because otherwise that's going to be quite interesting. I was fuming. Absolutely fuming with him. I can't believe he did that. It was a simple pass back to the keeper, and somehow he managed to find Dele Alli. But that draw, ladies and gentlemen, does mean we are league champions. It does mean we have secured ourselves the Premier League title for the second time in as many seasons. We've only had 3 years here at Brighton, and 2 of those 3 have been spent as Premier League champions. But we didn't actually get to lift the trophy. So that's going to have to wait. I don't know if we'll get to lift it next episode, because when I came out of this, I'll show you the news article right now, there was a little snippet with us sat there with the Prem title. So I'm not sure if we get to lift it or not. So yeah, that's going to be quite interesting. However, guys, that is it for today's episode. I want to thank you all for watching. If you did enjoy it, a like would be greatly appreciated. If you are excited for the double leg header against Spurs next episode, make sure you have the notification bell turned on so you'll be notified when that video goes live. But until then, guys, I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all again tonight for 6 PM upload of the My Player Career Mode. Do not miss it. Catch you all then. Adios.